I'm Dr. Gaby Cora, and welcome to my show, Dr. Gaby's Take, Make Life Interesting. So how did that come to life? How did you go about that? How long did it take you? And how did you celebrate?
Well, it came about just because of, there was a decision that was out there for the courts to make regarding lifting the ban because of Martin Gill and the case that he brought against he didn't bring, that DCF brought against him, and him adopting his two foster children. But the buzz was it was going to be lifted. The ban was going to be lifted. We were contacted by a fantastic attorney, Elizabeth Schwartz, and
we'd worked with her before. She's really wonderful. But we'd been in discussions with her about some other things, and we spoke with her, and the decision was made that if in fact the ban was going to be lifted, that we should have all of our papers ready.
Ready, yeah. And so that's what we did. We got all of our papers plus extra papers just in case. And as soon as it was lifted,
you were ready.
Yes, we were ready.
You were super ready.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, look what happened in California with gay marriage. In a very short time, it went from being legal and everybody celebrated to being illegal. And we were very concerned that, if we didn't jump on it right in the beginning, that, there's so much money out there in anti-gay causes that can be thrown against any situation, at a whim. We were very concerned that once the ban was lifted, it could be overturned.
You asked, how did you celebrate?
Yes.
You know what? We didn't celebrate because they've always been our kids.
That's right.
So it was like, okay, piece of paper, okay,
Yeah.
We were happy about it, but did we celebrate? No, because they were always our kids,
Right.
Regardless of the piece
It
of
just
paper
made it
or not.
easier.
Right.
Just made it
To-
easier.
for the world.
It was
Yeah.
a frustrating thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't something to be celebrated because we were really frustrated at the fact that we had to go through this process to show the courts that we were good enough to adopt each other's children. It should have been as simple as, Mayda saying, I want you to adopt my twins that I biologically had, that we worked to have for years.
Mhm.
And for me to say the same thing about, our other little guy.
Mhm.
And for it to just be, we want to make sure that it's all legal and documented. But
Yeah.
it had to,
No big deal.
we had to have home studies, and it was so invasive. It was as if somebody had given us a child, or so.
They were checking you as if you were a total stranger,
Right.
adopted
Yeah,
parent.
We had to submit financial statements to the state of Florida. We had to get reference letters from friends and colleagues
That you were okay.
that we were good enough to adopt each other's children. So it was very invasive, and thank goodness that process, is somewhat over.
So it's expensive, it's time consuming, and in a way it's very invasive.
Yeah. And it should have been a right that was never denied.
Mhm.
So, that's the issue. It's a
Right.
right that should have never
Right.
been denied.
Yeah, and so now when I say it's somewhat over, still, if same-sex couples want to adopt their partner's biological child, they'll still have to go through an adoption process. But it's so much easier now.
So what's different? What's changed?
Well, the hurdles you have to go through, have been lowered. And most of the home studies that we were required to do, where a social worker came into our home and made sure that our home was decent enough, those have all been streamlined. So I can't say for sure if they don't exist, but I know that a lot of the steps have been reduced.
Yeah,
And in some cases, it's not a bad thing. But it shouldn't be, I just mean that those steps aren't a bad thing if someone's looking to adopt, but those steps shouldn't be in place because the person is gay.
Well, let's put it this way. If you had been a straight couple, and one of you had come in, with a child and it was not the biological child to the other person, and the other person decided to adopt, they would have probably not needed to go through that
Yeah.
strange
Not at all.
process at all.
Right.
Because people would have considered them a couple already living together and being the step parent to the other kid.
Exactly.
Right.